Welcome back to D365 Insights Hub. So this session is about the handling time widget for the case form configuration, and we'll cover the administration part and the user part, like how the customer service representative can use this widget for recording time and viewing the actual time spent on the case. So firstly, we are going to cover the customer service administrator part, like how they're going to use and how they're actually going to record their time entries in case of manual time entries, if any. Okay. So currently I'm on the customer service workspace, and as you can see on the bottom right, I have this widget which I've clicked, and upon clicking it expanded to this form. This basically has a few features available. The first one is my time. So this demonstrate or this toggle is for the automatic calculation. If I turn it off, the calculation for or the tracking of the time for this case would be stopped, and if I turn it on, the live tracking would be started. Now there are multiple conditions that applies, which include that if I minimize the browser, or if I switch to another case, or if I close the browser, the time tracking would be stopped for this case, and if I move to another case, it would be start for the other case. Okay. So beneath that we have automatic time tracking bar, which is linked with this toggle, and if it is turned on, it will start the automatic calculation, and again it can be edited. I'll show you in a while because this needs to be configured. Then we have this manual time tracking bar in which there are time logs. So in case your organization has some cases that require the customer service representatives to enter time manually as well, because they have to spend some time not in this application, but you can say they need to interact with someone, or they actually need to do some activities out of the application, so they can add their time logs here, and these can be manually entered, which in turn what will do, it will give you an insight of how much time a customer service representative has spent on this case, like on the application also, while actually performing the task, or while doing research or interacting with other users to get this result, right? So both of the scenarios are possible in this and can be handled through this widget. Then there is the activities part. So in this activities bar, the time is logged that we have performed on the activities. So let's say if I create any activity, the current time was like 2 hours and 30 minutes. So if I create any activity, let's say I'm creating task. So if I create any activity, then it would be, recorded in the widget, and the time would be updated. So it's 2 hours 30 minutes. Here's the refresh button. If I refresh it, it actually updates to 3 hours, right? So this is a bit about the user perspective, how they can utilize this, and for the customer service representative perspective, right? Now, there is one important point for the administration part. So before I move towards the actual configuration, I need to highlight one important point here. So as you can see, like under the customer service workspace, I have two views for case. The first one is the case for multi-session experience. The other one is for the enhanced full case form. So the views really matter, because when you're going to perform the configuration in the next steps, so you need to select, okay, for which form you are configuring this widget, because until and unless you choose the correct form, it won't be visible on the form, and it can, consume a lot of your time identifying why it is not available on the screen. And another part which I would like to clarify is there are a number of cases, right? So you don't need to panic if your configured widget does not appear in the form of that widget, like I had in my previous case right here, right? If it is appearing in the form of the subgrid, which is time tracker, then you can change the view from here, like show as to handling time, and would appear as a widget. So I hope it is clear. Now let's move towards the administration part. So for the administration part and for the configuration, we need to move towards the customer service admin center. And within this, there is an entity for the case settings. And if I move to that entity, there's case handling time, which if I go to manage, a form will be open for me like this. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to enable this case handling time. And the second thing that I need to do is that I need to add the case handling widget. The one that I showed you, which is this, on the specific form which I do require, and that can only be done in the Power Apps. We are going to move to this in a while. And the last one is this update interval. So this update interval represents what is the limit for updating your time. Like let's say if a customer service representative spends 46 minutes on a case. So 40 hours will be recorded, but the 6 hours won't be, because the update interval time is 10 minutes. So after every 10 minutes, it gets updated, right? So the 6 minutes in between would not be recorded. So for that, they can also use the manual time entry. Okay. So this is all from the front end part. Now let's move towards the Power Apps to actually add that widget on the form, because by default that widget is not available on the form. So here is my Power Apps, and I've chosen the correct environment, which is Sandbox. And under the tables, like let me show you again. Under the tables and under all tables, you need to select the case table. So if I quickly move towards that case table, here it is. I need to select the forms. Now here comes that important part which I was explaining you a while ago, that there are different views and we need to select the specific view. So let's select case for multi-session experience, which I have already done. As you can see here that there on my extreme right, there's a menu bar. There's a component section which we will be using to add that widget on the form. So I've currently added that widget. Let me delete it and add it again for the clarification. Okay. So this has been deleted. In order to actually add that widget on the form, we would first require to go towards this component and add a one column section over here. Like you can add it wherever you want. And upon adding that section, you need to add a subgrid also. So here in the table, you need to select the time tracker, and the view will be all time trackers. So let's select the time tracker. It must be upside. Here it is. So the default view would be all time trackers, and you need to select that done. And after that, you can also rename this column, but currently it is not required, so I can also hide the label also, because I'm going to rename this specific subgrid, right? So let's say it's time trackers, and upon adding this, I can actually configure the widget. So once it's done, the label has been changed, the rest will be remain same. And down, like if I move down, there's this component section, and if I expand it, I can add components. So you cannot see handling time component over here, right? So I need to add it, and I can add it from here. So if, because I've previously used, so if in case it is not available in this screen, you can either search it or you can either get more components. And here, if you write handling time, it will definitely appear for you here if it is not in this screen, right? So I'll choose this handling time. And these are some of the configurations which says that allow users to add time logs or allow show users only their contributed time. So these are by default, and I'll make them remain same. And I'll click on done. Okay. In the subgrid part, I can check on the web because currently we're on the web, and it's done from the Power Apps portal part, and I can just save and publish this form and go back to my customer service workspace or refresh it if it is already open, and I can see that time tracker over here. If it is in that form which I showed you previously, you can just change the view and show as like the handling time, and it would appear as a widget over here. Right. So if I move from this view to enhanced full case form, you would notice that the time tracker subgrid is not available. So I cannot switch the view also. And this is the reason why I said that we need to be very clear, and we need to focus on which form we want that widget to be available, right? So if I highlight for customer service workspace application, the time is automatically tracked at the backend, so we do not need to add the widget for this application. However, for the customer service hub, we need to add the widget for automatic time tracking. While for the customer service workspace, you can actually get the reports and identify because the time is automatically tracked. So this is it for this specific session. Meet you guys in the next session. So till then, goodbye.